right, we're ready to start tonight in the 6th chapter, so we're going to get started. We'll get going right here in just a second. Yes. Tonight we are beginning part 1 of chapter 6 of the Perfect Ending, Why Your Eternal Future Matters Today. This is the 6th chapter. It'll be part 1. There's actually 2 parts of this series, of this topic. And the title of this one is History's Most Important Event. Personally, I find that interesting for that title. Because what he's talking about the Lord's second coming. Second coming. Now this chapter covers the time period at the end of the Great Tribulation. So what has been happening in the last chapter, we found out that all hell is broken loose. And that this is during the Great Tribulation. The first part of the tribulation is not nearly as the second part. But once the Antichrist comes along and he has broken the treaties, he has done all of those things, he's ruling the world now, and he's doing it through terror and through destruction. All right? We are now able to see the Antichrist for who he is. And the world leaders throughout the world, they've grown tired of his reign of terror. Okay? And so what they're going to do is, at the end of the Great Tribulation, they're going to bring or wage war against him. And this war is what we call known as Armageddon, the War of Armageddon. And as this battle rages, then what will happen is, at that designated time, then the Lord is going to come, and he is going to, the whole heaven, it says, will just open up, and the Lord Jesus and his army are going to return to the earth, and this is his second coming. That's right. So his army, if you're wondering, are those who were caught up with him, and they are returning now with his second coming. So he's going to talk about that. And in the end, I believe it will be in the second part of this series, and so we will talk, it'll probably be next week, but in the second part of this sermon, he will talk about the difference between the rapture and the second coming, and there is a vast difference there. The one thing also that he will mention, and that is that the way that Dr. Jeffress teaches this is that his second coming, at the end of the Great Tribulation, then that will be the marriage supper of the Lamb. That's when that will take place. And so there's always different viewpoints about each one of these events. All right? I've always believed that the marriage supper of the Lamb would be at the time of the rapture. But the truth is that we don't know the time period, exactly when that will occur. In other words, we don't know when the rapture occurs. Does that mean the next day the tribulation period starts? See what I'm saying? We don't know exactly when the tribulation period. We know when the Great Tribulation, the midpoint, we know that. So if you know the midpoint, then you go back 3.5 years, but then you go back 3.5 years and you don't know when the rapture had occurred. But he believes, Dr. Jeffress teaches, that the marriage supper of the Lamb will occur at that time, that he will set his table up at the marriage supper of the Lamb. And those who are ready will have the right clothes on, and that's significant. You will have the right clothes. I don't need to start preaching or teaching. I'm just trying to introduce this video. But it teaches at the wedding ceremonies you have to have the right garments in order to be invited to the wedding supper. And we, those who return with the Lord at his second coming, will have on the garments of righteousness. And that's significant. All right, so we're going to begin this tonight, and I pray that God will just speak to you through this teaching tonight.